when I was actually practicing acting, one of my acting teachers knew him personally. Watch his early work or his early audition tapes. He sucked. He was horrible. But guess what? He just kept going. He just kept going.
If you're listening to this podcast, you are not one of these guys that is sitting on his ass doing nothing.
Well,
and if you are, here's the call out. You don't get to complain about it.
Right.
You don't get to complain that you don't have what you want if you're not willing to do the work. That's the difference in this sort of season or energy of the warrior, of the season of transform, where it's like you got to embody the coherent life force that matches the identity that you are looking to become.
Yes.
Closing the gap between what you know you need to do and what you're doing now, and chipping away at it brick by brick, layer by layer. I think you said it on a previous episode, Russell. You don't go to the gym and try to bench press 500 pounds right off the bat. What can you start with? What can you focus on? Maybe it's the to-do list, and yeah, maybe you start out on the easy ones just to build that momentum, get some real dopamine going. And there's nothing more fulfilling than actually checking something off a to-do list, right?
Right.
But also, it needs to be organized. Don't just dally on the things that are easy and avoid the things that are actually the things you need to get done, and learning the difference. And that's a level up.
Right. Well, and that's why, they talk about start by making your bed when you get up in the morning. Because look, you've already accomplished something. Right. So that's an easy one. The Savers routine that Hal Elrod came up with in Miracle Morning.
Beautiful.
Like that's a great way to accomplish something right out of the gate and sharpen your axe and set the tone of your day right out of the gate. And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Shout out to Hal Elrod, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
The Miracle Morning. If you don't know his story, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Miracle Morning. Truly transformational, and what that man has overcome and the movement he's created. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Hal, we'd love to have you as a guest on the show. Come on down.
Absolutely.
IgniteTheKing.com. You can reach out to us, Michael or Russell at IgniteTheKing.com. Anyway, so now everybody's got our emails, and we're going to get the Paul Blart Mall Cop comments delivered directly to us. So, I'm glad you said that about complaining, because there is nothing more disgusting than someone who is procrastinating, has settled, is playing the victim, is not taking the action that they know they need to take to change their circumstances, but just sits around and complains about it and complains about how bad things are. Shut the front door. I'm working on reducing my F-bombs. Shut it.
No need.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, stop. Like, nobody wants to hear you whining and complaining about the shit. And bro, I'm raising my hand. Nobody wants to hear me whining and complaining about the things that I'm not willing to do anything to change. Nobody wants to hear it. Either shut the hell up or do something about it.
Right? Here's a question I would ask men to get underneath it, because we do want to provide an opportunity for me, like, okay, what's really going on there? Like, what would we say to a man in our group who we see a change he needs to make? He's not doing it, continues to not do it, keeps making excuses. And we get to the point where we ask him, like, okay, what are you getting out of this?
Right.
What are you, like, really, you're getting something out of this, otherwise you wouldn't do it. Is it around worthiness? Is it around pleasing? Is it around your identity, who you believe yourself to be or not? What is it?
And when he says you're getting something out of it, when he says what you're getting something out of it, it's a benefit. What benefit? Because people are like, oh, I'm just getting lots of pain and disappointment. No. You're getting a benefit out of this behavior. What is the benefit?
Yeah. And an even deeper question I would ask a man is, what's the story you're telling yourself that makes this behavior okay? Because there's a part of you that knows, I need to fucking do this, but I'm not going to do it. There's a conscious moment where you're like choosing, I'm still not going to do that. What do you tell yourself in that moment that makes it okay? Because you're telling yourself something. And I bet that something is something you say often.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be, again, fear of failure, fear of what other people will think of you, fear of falling on your face. Look, Failure is a necessary component to success. It is not the opposite of success. It is a component of success.
Right.
Nobody has reached a high level of success that didn't fall flat on their face many times.
Many.
Right? Kevin Costner, great actor, right? Most people would agree. I think he's won Oscars. I mean, obviously, very accomplished. If you watch his early and one of my when I was actually practicing acting, one of my acting teachers knew him personally. Watch his early work or his early audition tapes. He sucked. He was horrible. But guess what? He just kept going.
Right.
He just kept going. But then Michael Jordan got kicked off the high school basketball team, ran home, cried in his room. He was horrible, but he was willing to suck at something worth getting good at. And what's the difference? You put in the time, you put in the effort, you put in the discipline.
I want to jump on this for a second because you bring up a really, really important point. I think for a lot of the audience that listens to this podcast is men will start something, and as soon as they hit one ream of failure, or rung of failure, excuse me, they're out. As soon as they hit that resistance, big goals, big dreams, big aspirations, they go out in the world, someone shuts the door in their face, like, well, I guess that's not for me. And I think we were interviewed on a podcast with Hector Santiesteban, who said that the millennial generation, that's rampant.
Yeah.
He said that we were trained as a generation, if it was hard, then we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, because they're addicted to comfort.
So not to call out a whole generation here, but just to say
all of you.
But we've also seen with the millennials, the achiever and the overachiever, and the other side of the spectrum. And there's a sacred third between the two. But often, and I'll say just humans, men in general, will meet resistance, and then a story gets created. Well, I guess I'm not good at this. I guess I'll just give up. I guess what ... fill in the blank your challenge. But there's a certain level of overcoming that kind of the pain pushing till vision pulls statement.
And in my mind, it's not recognizing resistance as the gift. Right? We have to recognize resistance as the gift. Look, when you go to the gym, what are you doing? Resistance training. It's hard. It hurts. You reach a point of failure. That's the fucking idea. That's why you grow. There is no growth without resistance.
Exactly.
Think about it.
Yep.
So when you encounter resistance in your relationship, in your career path, in your whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, don't take it as a sign of failure. Recognize it as a gift. This is where I grow. Whenever you encounter resistance, just say to yourself, this is where I grow.